Well, welcome to Something to Talk About here at King's Restaurant in Tamuning. Today the topic is cancer, and well, actually it's Relay for Life. It's really difficult to try to make something like cancer a fun event, but we do so well on Guam with the Relay for Life. And today we have a couple of guests that will be talking about the season for Relay for Life coming up. That's all ahead on Something to Talk About. And thank you for joining us. Of course, it is still the Lenten season, so we have the seafood sampler, and of course, we can never go wrong with fruit here. I have got some good friends with us today. Jo Rios, who is the area coordinator for Relay for Life, and then she's the big boss. Tina Noquette is also with us. Thanks a lot for coming.
All right.
I appreciate you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Oh no, it's my pleasure. Dig in. You know, this is all. They do a really good poke here anyway. So I know you don't want to eat with your mouth full, but.
And I always wondered how folks could do it, but maybe later on in the show I'll
now
be
you
brave
see
enough.
when you're on this side, because when they're on the other side, they're going, eat the food, eat the, and then we're sitting here like, and it's mostly because you don't want to talk and have, whatever. We've had it all, trust me. But thanks for coming over today, and we appreciate taking the time. And a lot of people, let's just start there, take the time.
Right.
Take the time for Relay for Life, and
Right.
it shows in the numbers, doesn't it?
Right, it does. And Guam's event for 2016, we were number 6 out of 3,500 events in the nation. So we were invited to take part in a meeting where they bring the top 20 events, and we were able to bring our top team, which is 76 for Life, and Bank of Guam to join us. And we were among, different levels of people, but all with the same passion for the cause. And we were able to share ideas about how to make this event better, how to encourage our teams, support our survivors, and basically to celebrate the successes that we're making at the American Cancer Society in helping our families, get access to the care that they need, provide them with the information for their journeys, and then just to have fun.
Yeah,
like you said.
just to have fun. Well, the fun part, I said, I mean, I didn't mean it to be that cancer is fun.
Right.
Fighting cancer is a serious thing.
Yeah.
But we're also very competitive here.
Right.
And
Very.
so we could use that to the advantage of fighting
Absolutely.
cancer. Jo, you've been doing this for a while. The Relay for Life is kind of your baby, huh?
Yeah.
Did you know that you were a lifetime volunteer, by the way? Because that's kind of what she told the producer here, to write that you're a lifetime volunteer.
Yeah, it's turned out to be that
How
way.
about that?
Yeah,
Well, I
but
mean,
a
you've
pleasure.
got the experience to
Yeah.
do it. You could do it with your eyes closed or not yet.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think we got it down pat, and it's a logistical challenge every year.
Yeah.
From the beginning, usually in January up until relay night, and it's just a matter of coordinating with all the teams. And what makes it fun is that the teams and the relayers are just as passionate, and they're really having fun trying to raise the funds because they know what it's for. And they're all in it together to fight cancer, to find a cure. They know that their funds are going to a great purpose with trying to reach out to their family members and the loved ones that they're relaying for.
We'll talk about. I want to talk about the actual particulars of the relay, but I want to just kind of go backwards to the real reason we're talking about. Cancer is like one of those. It's one of those words that it always feels like there's always a goal to get to something.
Right.
And people, I don't know if you ever come across people who feel like they're defeated by the whole movement, right? You must get that.
We do. We get, folks from all spectrums of we call it a journey, some call it a war, a battle, whatever it is. But we get people who are in different places at different times, and
Yeah.
and that's the beauty of the work that we do. Is we want to be there for everybody in all of the stages that they go through. So if you're someone that's never been affected by cancer, we want to be with you and provide you with the education about how to not, how to prevent cancer if you are diagnosed. We want to support you in that journey and your family as well. So for caregivers, I was telling Joe earlier when we were waiting, for our caregivers, you don't really think you need support. You don't know what you need until you're there.
Yeah.
And the support that our caregivers provide for each other and that is available through the relay event is something that's unique and special, and something definitely that we want to hone in on and always want to keep at the center focal point of what we do. And then for our families after treatment and survivorship, like I've been through treatment, and I've been through my, and now what do I do? How do I move on, and how do I thrive?
Yeah.
And getting involved, helping with others in our community to make sure that cancer doesn't affect them in the same way, and doing what we can. That's really what the movement
That is a
about.
journey. Let's start with the caregivers, because the patient is one thing. They're the star of the show. They're in the
Right.
spotlight. It's the fringes.
Yes.
And you have somebody who's directly dedicating their time, and they live and they breathe it every single day. The support, like you said, the support has to be there.
Right. So one of the things that
I'm sorry, is it mostly family that is a caregiver, or do you find that they're
Yeah, and thank you for bringing that up. So in our view, the definition of a caregiver is who've ever provided any kind of support, whether it be financial, physical, emotional support, because we need all of that. Survivors need all spectrums, and that's a lot to ask from one particular person. So in our community, where we're very family oriented, we see the whole family taking on that caregiver role. Financially, if for school, if they have to leave the island for their treatment and they're leaving their children behind, there's family members to take care of that. And all the other things that are associated with going through treatment. And so nutrition, and one of the things that when our families come in to see us, our caregivers, got to make sure that they eat. They got to make they're not eating, and and all these kinds of stuff. And we want to make we want to do what we can to make that process easier. But we have to remind our caregivers that we really have to be at the pace of our survivors, and sometimes they may not be in the mood to eat, and the medicines may alter the way food tastes and things like that. So we have resources available. We have this cool little recipe cookbook that has little symbols on it if they're going through some of the symptom side effects of some of the common side effects, mouth sores, constipation, nausea, vomiting. So there's different simple recipes that the caregivers can make that will address and ease, some of those symptoms. And make
it's
it
an
easier
all
to
in.
eat.
It's an all in.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you've ever personally experienced having been on the other side of a caregiver there's frustration. I mean, that's the ugly part of it as well. There's a dynamic that happens, though, I think, that when and I speak from experience in this one, that when you're a family member, there is some ethical or moral obligation there. So that's standard, that's in there, there's nothing you can do about that. But if you're a family member who doesn't have the capacity, sometimes it's an acceptance thing. They don't want to see their loved ones go through this, so they check out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you seen the checkout person? That's the hard one, because this is a family interpersonal kind of thing that you're in.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And for those that do check out, it really adds an additional burden to those that are completely 110% in, right? So that support group and just the time that it takes. And so we do get families that come in and they just want to talk.
Yeah, they just want to
They
talk.
just,
And
that's
you're
their
there-
release. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's really nothing you're not psychologists to come
Exactly,
in and
no.
try to do counseling
Right.
for families.
No,
but-
absolutely. Yeah.
But on Guam, do you find that there's anything different about the way that we care, or the way we offer care or support, than there might be in other places?
The American Cancer Society, we are a nationwide organization, and we have great resources. We have our website, we have our toll-free number available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But in our community, we're finding that they want to come visit us in the office. They want to call the local number. So for me, I see that that's the big difference, is we are a presence in the community, and they call our office every day to find out where we're located, because it's kind of
So they want to
weird.
go in. They want to go in, and they want to see what these services are personally for
Right,
themselves,
right,
rather
and they-
than
yes.
shop for it online.
Right. And
Well,
so
I could see that.
yeah, and so when we talk about the resources, sometimes it says, come into the office. We have the computer. Let's go through it. What are your questions? What information would you like? Oh, I can print that out for you. Even though it's available to them at their homes, we understand that they'll want to come in, and getting it from somebody here is important too. So
Yeah. So, Joe, how long have you been doing this? How long have you been involved?
I think over 15 years.
Really?
Yeah.
What was
yeah.
your motivation? Was there a personal experience that you had that brought you to this point?
Eventually there was, because in the beginning it was part of the thing to do at the office. We got involved with Relay for Life, so team captain, and then just organized the event. But then a cousin of mine in her early 30s, had diagnosed stomach cancer, and passed away like a year after, and and that was really close. So she had treatment done in Hawaii, because she was living in Hawaii, and that was a shock to me, and it was my first exposure to a loved one, because my family, it's either heart disease or diabetes.
Cancer's not your
right?
thing.
Yeah. So that was a
That's
shock.
not one of our diseases.
Yeah. So, and it was a shock, because my cousin was so young, and I thought, this is something that you get if you didn't eat right or exercise.
Yeah. That happened to people who don't take care of themselves.
Yeah.
Or something like
Yeah.
that.
So
Well, we've
became
come-
a driver.
We've come to find out that cancer can happen, afflict anybody,
Yeah.
and it doesn't make any difference even how old you are.
Right. Yep.
We're going to take a quick break here, because we have to hack into some of this fish. And then when we come back, I think we'll talk about the fun part. The fun part is a Relay for Life, and these are the best people to talk about it. We'll be right back. Welcome back to King's Restaurant, Something to Talk About. My guests, Tina Noquette and Joe Rios. Relay for Life has got to be one of the most really competitive events, where people don't necessarily have to go and lift weights or run
Right.
or any of that stuff. The competition, I think, in the private sector has really gotten big, right?
It has.
And
Yeah.
yeah. So what's funny about the competition, I see. At our meetings, we have team captains meetings before the event to prepare, and we've been asking, so what's your theme? Our theme for the overall event is family game night. So teams have been picking different family games and letting us know. But there are a few teams that are like, no,
We'll do our own
we'll
thing.
show up, and that
yeah,
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we know that part of the competition is there. But what I've seen in my years working with Relay is the competition within the team itself. They're always wanting to do better than they did the year before. At the current event isn't even completed, but they're already thinking, well, next year this is what we're going to do, because we tried this new idea and it works well, but we want to tweak it and make it better for next year. So. Anything from the team, the costumes, the t-shirts, the t-shirt designs, the games that are offered at
Yeah.
the actual site.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very fun.
The logistics of doing this
Yeah.
is because you have to sort of conform to what each team is going to be doing, right? So you
much,
have
yeah.
you have like the base there, but then you have all these other movable parts that have to fit
Right.
into that template.
Yeah.
And you work with them throughout the months, because we kick it off in January, and then we work up to May with the Relay Night event, and you get to know the team so that you can understand, okay, is it going to be a big group? Is it going to be a small group,
yeah.
families, versus the companies with their employees? And some companies have termed the Relay Night to be their event, their company event of the year. So
Oh,
you
yeah.
do
Well, that's
that.
good.
Yeah, and then you have families that'll get get together and then just want to get all the relatives to support and to to be there for their loved ones. So you have different reasons. So you have to understand that, and then of course you have to deal with the logistics of getting everybody there and at one
that
time.
many hours.
Yeah, for that many hours. And we're gonna. So this year we're gonna. This will be the second year that we'll have the event start at 6 o'clock and then end at midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that just seems
Because
to.
the other time it was
It was
you bleed in a
7
whole
to
day the next
7.
morning,
Right.
and
Yeah.
that's just extra sort of. People are good at midnight. They're
Right.
good up until
Yeah.
that point.
Right. Yeah.
So you have a lot of really creative ideas, and then like you said, every year they think of another great thing to do. We were just talking about SPPC.
Right. Yeah.
Now, is that common knowledge, or is that supposed to be still kept under the wraps? 'Cause
Yeah.
my big mouth started talking about it. So
Yeah.
sorry, SPPC, but
Yeah, so actually I'm with SPPC,
Yeah.
so I can talk about it because we did announce it
Yeah.
that we're gonna come up with for the first time celebrity waiter, and
such a good idea.
yeah, so
Such an awesome idea. Okay.
yeah, so you're gonna have that celebrity waiter wait on you at that table.
There are so many people who want to see some people in this town wait
Yes.
on them.
Wait
I know.
on them, yeah.
I know. So the idea is they secure a table, and then
Yeah.
you do all there. You guys have a whole plan on how
Yeah.
that's going to go down.
Yeah, you're gonna have a sit down over at the Hyatt. It's scheduled for May 4th, and so it's gonna be in the ballroom, and you're gonna have this really nice dinner, and whoever's gonna be at your table.
Well, I haven't confirmed mine, but I am now that I will participate as a celebrity waiter. So if you want to get a seat at my table, if you want to ever harass anybody, I am very harassable. But you got to leave a big tip because the
That's
tip
right.
is everything, right?
Yeah.
The tip is everything.
So that'll be one way is for the waiter to be creative on how to get more tips because
Yeah.
this is a fundraising event for SPPC. So we
Yeah.
we just want to have everybody have fun,
I
but
think
at the
it
same
sounds like a fun
time,
night.
yeah, one way to raise funds for 76 Relay for Life because the team last year. Ranked number 1 on Guam, and we raised quite a bit.
Quite a bit. So you guys, you're the defending champions.
Yeah, so so that
Was
the
there a
team,
big difference between number 1 and number 2? Was the amount a big difference?
About a little over 20,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
20 or 30,000.
Yeah, so 76
Well,
Relay
that's
for
pretty
Life
cool.
raised over $100,000.
They're
That
two
was
to
a
knock off, guys. If that's
and it was a first in Guam's history for a team to raise that amount.
Yeah.
And everybody is so passionate and so proud over at 76, and it's so fun where you see the employees, whether it be at the convenience stores or over at in the office, so they're selling lunch plates
Oh,
or
yeah, Bank of Guam,
Kelaguen,
they
and,
have
and,
these
and
things,
the employees are raising all the funds, and it's the same at Bank of Guam where all the employees are raising funds to.
Nobody wants to go down like that, though. You know what I mean? If you're at
Yeah.
a big name company,
Yeah.
you don't want to go down like that, especially if you've been raising the money, a lot of the money. What's the most creative you've seen? Most creative ideas, or you have any that like you go, wow, that'll work?
Well, gosh, on the spot, I don't know, but I think like 76 just had also their paddles against
Paddles Against
cancer.
Cancer.
So the idea of using our community, taking the ideas and really putting their creative flow into it. One of our teams, What's in Familia, takes the traditional, adult happy hour event and actually intertwined some cancer. It was March, so they did colorectal cancer awareness infused with their fundraising because, again, taking in, the reason that they're having this fun is to make sure that, we can stop cancer in its tracks. And one of the ways is, for colon cancer screening, right?
Yeah,
And so things like celebrity waiter, the bubble run, I think, is another
Oh, yeah.
twist on the 5K. Everybody does the 5K, but when you
Right.
add bubbles,
And
so
That was
Purple
Triple
Carabao.
J did
Well,
that,
yeah,
yeah.
Triple J does that. Purple
bubble,
Carabaos is
yeah.
going to do that this year.
And Bank of Guam's block party.
The block
yeah.
party, that was additional idea.
Oh,
So that
that's
was-
right. I forgot
that
the block
was-
party
that was so creative, yeah.
That was a good one. They had
Yeah.
a whole big fair, and everybody
Right.
came
Yeah.
down
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah.
Well, the competition is good because you're just generating revenue as far
Right.
as I'm concerned.
Right.
You're just contributing. The particulars about this time. It's going to be in May. And is it still?
Yeah,
have
we're
you
still
changed the venue or
yeah,
nothing?
no, it's still going to be at GW Field. We start at 6 and we'll end at 12:01. We're still accepting teams, so they can call the Guam Field office at 477-9451. Important to plug, our luminarias are on sale, and that's the candle lighting ceremony that's going to happen at 9 o'clock. Dedications for the booklet are due next week, so if folks are interested in that, we have a souvenir booklet that they can get, put in a little dedication in addition to their luminaria. So
I wanted to bring up, you said that because of the luminarias, a really big part of this, and I think it gets kind of emotional, is when the survivors
yes.
turn out.
Yeah.
That
Right.
I saw that one time.
Yeah.
It was really hard to keep it together because
Right.
they're an emotional group.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Grateful.
right.
Yeah.
And one thing that we do every year is when we have the survivors take to the track, we call them out by years of survivorship.
Yeah.
And we start
that's the
with
most touching part.
less
Yeah.
than a year, and then 20 plus
25
years.
plus years.
And so we have our folks in the front, turn around and look at all the survivors behind you, and just know that you're going to be back there with them because of the funds that are raised through Relay for Life and the work of the American Cancer Society and all of our volunteers to make sure that that research is continuing, that we're finding the medicines and we're finding the cancers earlier, and we're making sure that we're fine-tuning the tests that we're using to make sure that we're able to find it earlier, we're not doing unnecessary testing. So relying on the data, that's very important in this experience. And so our survivors, we did a random poll on Facebook, not very scientific, but we asked, what's your favorite part of the relay event? And by far, survivors
was it?
Yeah,
and the
that
luminaria.
was. Yeah.
The
That
two
must get you every
reasons.
time, huh, Joe?
Yeah, it does because you get to see the same people, and then they move from the 1 to 5 to the 5 to 10.
So the same people are showing up, which is a good thing.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
good thing. Anything that you want any of the participants to know before we
Yeah,
close up?
if you're not a relayer, then come on over to the Relay for Life event, join a team, create a team, because it's not only a fun event, but then it's all educational. You get to learn more. Because when I first started, it was just an event, but then now I know more about cancer and the survivorship, caregivers, and then just the services that are available. Yeah, so it's just an awesome way to experience and then just be amongst people.
And plus that we want to go from number 6 up a little notch, a few more
Yeah.
notches to get the
Right.
national recognition
Right.
for
Exactly.
Guam just coming out and do what we do, and that support. I appreciate it. Well, thanks guys so
Thank
much.
you.
It's always nice. It's always nice to catch up with you in a good way. It's nice. And Joe, I really appreciate your time. And
Thanks,
I
man.
guess the American Cancer Society really appreciates your time
Absolutely.
after all of these years. And we'll see you at the Celebrity Waiter
Waiter.
event. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. I appreciate your time, and we'll see you on the radio.